Everyone thinks of changing the world, but no one thinks of changing himself. All happy families are alike. Each unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. The two most powerful warriors are patience and time. Without knowing what I am and why I am here, life is impossible. We lost because we told ourselves we lost. The only thing that we know is that we know nothing, and that is the highest flight of human wisdom. Without faith, nothing is possible. With it, nothing is impossible. The more we live by our intellect, the less we understand the meaning of life. One can live magnificently in this world if one knows how to work and how to love. The greatest joy that can come to a man is the joy of giving himself for the sake of others. If you look for perfection, you'll never be content. There is no greatness where there is no simplicity, goodness, and truth. Joy can only be real if people look upon their life as a service and have a definite object in life outside themselves and their personal happiness. To get rid of an enemy, one must love him. The most important knowledge is that which guides the way you lead your life. A man can live and be healthy without killing animals for food. Therefore, if he eats meat, he participates in taking animal life merely for the sake of his appetite. True life is lived when tiny changes occur. A man is like a fraction whose numerator is what he is and whose denominator is what he thinks of himself. The larger the denominator, the smaller the fraction. The greatest happiness is to know the source of unhappiness. If you want to be happy, be. Life could be limitless joy if we would only take it for what it is and the way it is given to us. What counts in making a happy marriage is not so much how compatible you are, but how you deal with incompatibility. In the name of God, stop a moment, cease your work, look around you. Only people who are capable of loving strongly can also suffer great sorrow, but this same necessity of loving serves to counteract their grief and heals them. The best way to escape from your problem is to solve it. The sole meaning of life is to serve humanity. The law condemns and punishes only actions within certain definite and narrow limits. It thereby justifies, in a way, all similar actions that lie outside those limits. I believe that if it holds true that there exist as many minds as there are heads, then there are equally as many varieties of love as there are hearts. It's astonishing how thoroughly the misconception persists that beauty equates to goodness. Respect was conceived to conceal the void where love ought to reside. The companionship of intelligent women is essential for a young man. When you love someone, you love the person as they are, and not as you'd like them to be. Wrongness doesn't diminish simply because the majority partakes in it. If individuals fought for their own beliefs, there would be no conflict. It's far preferable to perform acts of kindness discreetly without drawing attention to them. People aren't equipped to determine what's right or wrong. Throughout eternity, they have been and will continue to be mistaken, especially in their perceptions of right and wrong. If we admit that human life can be ruled by reason then all possibility of life is destroyed. We are asleep until we fall in love. Seize the moments of happiness, love and be loved. That is the only reality in the world. All else is folly. It is the one thing we are interested in here. I often think that men don't understand what is noble and what is ignorant, though they always talk about it. Man cannot possess anything as long as he fears death, but to him who does not fear it, everything belongs. If there was no suffering, man would not know his limits, would not know himself. How can one be well when one suffers morally? A man on 1,000-mile walk has to forget his goal and say to himself every morning, "Today I'm going to cover 25 miles, and then rest up and sleep." Human science fragments everything in order to understand it, kills everything in order to examine it. It's all God's will. You can die in your sleep, and God can spare you in battle. There are no conditions to which a person cannot grow accustomed, especially if he sees that everyone around him lives in the same way. The only absolute knowledge attainable by man is that life is meaningless. Kings are the slaves of history. Everything depends on upbringing. Pure and complete sorrow is as impossible as pure and complete joy. Speaking the truth is immensely challenging, and young individuals seldom possess the capability to do so. As long as there are slaughterhouses, there will always be battlefields. In the best, the friendliest and simplest relations, flattery or praise is necessary, just as grease is necessary to keep wheels turning. There is something in the human spirit that will survive and prevail. There is a tiny and brilliant light burning in the heart of man that will not go out no matter how dark the world becomes. Everything comes in time to him who knows how to wait. We love people not so much for the good they've done us as for the good we've done them. The pleasure lies not in discovering truth, but in searching for it. Energy rests upon love, and come as it will, there's no forcing it. Life is too long to say anything definitely, always say perhaps. A battle is won by him who is firmly resolved to win it. Government is an association of men who do violence to the rest of us. It's too easy to criticize a man when he's out of favor, and to make him shoulder the blame for everybody else's mistakes. Every acquisition that is disproportionate to the labor spent on it is dishonest. Truth, like gold, is to be obtained not by its growth, but by washing away from it all that is not gold. One of the first conditions of happiness is that the link between man and nature shall not be broken. The more you do nothing, the less time you have to do anything. Rest, nature, books, music, such is my idea of happiness. It's not those who are handsome we love, but those we love who are handsome. Everything that I understand only because I love. Free thinkers are those who are willing to use their minds without prejudice and without fearing to understand things that clash with their own customs, privileges, or beliefs. The whole world is divided for me into two parts. One is she, and there is all happiness, hope, light. The other is where she is not, and there is dejection and darkness.